Yes.
Whoa. Is that the yes man?
Yeah.
Now, yes man, I don't know if you heard. Did you hear Scott talking about his low T?
Low T.
Oh, yes.
Now, can you... I mean, I don't mean to pry, but do you have low T?
Yes.
Oh, you do? And do you take medication for it?
Yes.
Okay, wait, will you be honest with me? And I understand Scott signed whatever document that to secrecy and swear that it's not steroids, but I mean, I mean, they're giving you steroids, right?
Are you asking Mr. Yes or me?
Oh.
They're not steroids. They're a natural. I don't know who's making it, but it's a natural hormone, I was told.
Oh man, that's not a rejection. That's Schrodinger's response on testosterone.
Maybe they're squeezing it, milking it out of some.
No, you should. But number one, what Brian is clearly reenacting in his own head from the point in which he goes to a pliant doctor to give him steroids is that you should be taking advantage of this to go work out. You should like whether or not it is steroids that you would use at the gym. You should. You're catching a wave right now.
I mean, if you got a lot of testosterone in your system, I don't care how you got there. All I know is you have more testosterone than you had yesterday. And if that were the case, I'd be hitting the gym, my friend.
Wait.
Okay, it's funny you say that because my doctor, Dr. Harrison, good man, he says that's exactly what I should do. Is take this opportunity here with my fresh man juice and go spend some.
Wait.
Take your spend from you take your man juice spend and just roll on up to the nearest collection of sweaty folk you can find and just join in those motions. That's what I'm saying.
Spend your testosterone the way that you spend it for the majority of your life in a sock you make your mom wash.
Oh, I'm so happy I don't have boys.
You never do the laundry. Oh my god. Now here's the thing that I'm hearing is that Frog Pants is going to have a new exercise program. Is that right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, look, the whole point of it was I usually can lose weight easy. And the doctor says, no, you're not losing weight as fast as you want to because you got the low T, he says. And I said, really? He says, yeah. He says, you're supposed to be 500 to 900. You're like 140. That is bad. And I said, oh, well, that's okay. Well, what do you do? And that's when he suggested the shots. But it's supposed to help with all that stuff. Metabolism, energy levels, natural, like normal metabolistic weight loss kind of business there.
All right,
and
Scott, what if I told you?
Lift and run.
What if I told you?
Oh my God, you want to get some PRs?
PRs on the reg. All right, Scott, what if I told you that the Monopoly man just showed up and he's off camera? So I wish you could see him, but he just whispered at me.
Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, wait, hold on. No. The Monopoly man is here. Hold on.
He's over off camera.
Yeah, no, he's off camera, but I know you can't see him. He's very, very shy.
Okay.
But he was whispering to me that
it's me.
It's me, the Monopoly Man.
That's right. Okay, all right. But Monopoly Man, I'm glad you're here. Listen,
It's me. I have a top hat and a big mustache.
yes.
The Monopoly Man.
Yes, and I'm glad you're here because before the show we were just talking. You mentioned that you had $1 million you wanted to give someone.
Yes, I do. And you don't have to pass go to collect it.
Right, and you were saying that the only requirement to get $1 million of free money, your money, because you're the Monopoly Man, is
Money.
the only requirement is that somebody predict to the highest degree possible of their abilities how many people go to a low T clinic and are told that they have plenty of tea.
It's not a low T clinic. There's no such thing.
You won't need to deal with the community just to make these riches. To answer my riddle.
So I must admit, in private, I made my guess, and you said I was very far off, and I did not get the $1 million. But it occurs to me that Scott's here.
Brian, your answer was fucking stupid.
Well, luckily Scott Johnson is here. He's actually been to a low T clinic.
Brian, go to jail. Go. Do not collect $200. I'm the Monopoly man. I have the power to incarcerate.
Well, so maybe Scott can give his honest best guess, knowing that he'll get $1 million if he's close to correct. Scott.
Please answer these. My riddle 3 minus 2. It's one question between me and you. I'm now kind of a leprechaun, I guess. Answer the riddle that Brian asked before.
Scott, do you want to take a stab to make millions of dollars? All you have to do is do your best guess. What percentage of people show up to a low T clinic and then are told, nope, you have plenty of tea?
I don't know what that is.
Real easy one, like an Oriental Avenue. Is that racist? I don't know.
I don't know either. I didn't go to a low T clinic. I'm a terrible person to answer this. It's just a normal doctor that I went to. But if I had to guess, they tell everyone they're a little low on the T. Probably.
The 100% is what you're saying?
Yes. I think they tell everyone they have low T at a low T clinic. I've never been there, but I think that's what they would do because that's their business and they want to make money.
Congratulations, Scott. You win $1 million in Monopoly money. Of dealing with the Monopoly man.
Oh, he got us again.
Fuck you.
Get out of here, shitbag penny bags. Yeah.
See you in hell, mortals.
Wait, I'm really confused
That
about
got fucked up.
Holy shit.
what happened.
Justin, did you hear that?
Oh my God, that's what you get for dealing with the Monopoly man.
Wait, is the Monopoly man like a standing character, or how did that all happen?
No, it's
That
the
was
first- it's the
real,
first
buddy.
time he
That
showed
was a real
up.
call.
I mean,
It was brought on by Bryce. Bryce is such a good producer. He
Oh
called the
my
Monopoly man.
God.
I didn't know that button could go that far. But
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah, that was some-
amazing.
that was like seventh circle right there, man.
Now, like, if you guys are listening, then you need to go and like see what happened to the Monopoly man. He visibly turned evil.
That's right.
I mean, some might say he was always evil. Representing
Capitalism.
capitalism.
That's right.
Capitalism, am I right?
Well, actually, you guys know this story. Monopoly was originally conceived as a game to illustrate the evils of capitalism.
And landlords, right?
Yeah.
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 That's why all the properties in fucking Atlantic City.
Oh, that was really weird. I stayed with a friend who had, his parents' like beach house was in Atlantic City, and I was there for like a day or so. And I was just going
And this
out.
giant thimble bounced on by.
Well, but quite seriously, I went out for a run, and I was really confused because like, oh, Atlantic Avenue, Baltic Avenue, like all of I was like, huh, and then all of a sudden I realized like, wait a minute.
This is all just Jersey.
Yeah, this is the boardwalk. God, this is Park Place.
Yeah, no, I remember driving down there back when I lived in the New York area, and I was like, wow, this place looks like where you'd buy crack. And then it was like Atlantic Avenue, and I'm like, that tracks.
You know, I remember playing Monopoly with my dad and my brother as kids, and I beat the pants off of them. And then my dad just stands up and he's like, "Ah, God, I'm done." And he just walks off, and I was like, "I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry," but apparently, like, I don't know.
We
was
would
a
always mod stuff. So it's like level 1 was when, like, okay, the way the game is supposed to be played is you're supposed to crush everybody as fast as you can, get them bankrupt, and end it. The goal is not to accumulate a lot of wealth. The goal is to just bankrupt everybody else, right? But we never played it that way. So it's like we wanted the game to keep on going, so we'd go all day. But, like, as somebody became in a dominant position and somebody was about to roll and they were about to go through scary territory, they'd be like, whoa. You want to buy insurance? And so we would negotiate a bunch of insurance.
Oh, wow.
And since the game already had houses and hotels, it's like, whoa, hold on. I drew this on a piece of paper. Let me put it there. I'm going to put a golf course on my property. Now, here's the thing. When you get there, you're going to have to pay the rent. But then roll the dice, and it basically, like, we put casinos on the property.
That's
and then
you
there
can
was
stay there and actually make money and not pay.
yeah.
Wow.
No, we never finished a game. Not in my life.
You know the way to destroy
Funny.
what I see saw on a YouTube video, the way to like really destroy people
crush.
at Monopoly is to not buy hotels, but to just buy 4 houses.
Buy up all the houses
because
so
there are
because
limited
there's a limited
numbers
supply.
of
Yeah.
houses, and then other people can't buy houses to get hotels.
And you can't go straight to a hotel. You have to buy the houses
You have to
to
make
get
it
to
your-
a hotel.
That's right. So a little bit of a Monopoly hack for you guys.
Do you know who is a soul-crushingly powerful player of Monopoly?
No, who?
The host of Price is Right, Drew Carey.
Oh,
Like he
yeah.
is merciless, and like he went on for 40 minutes. Everything I know about the game and crushing strategies
Yeah.
comes from the interview I heard with him.
Oh,
about
that's
it.
funny.
Yeah.
That's great. I like Monopoly. People don't like Monopoly because it's long and kind of not thrilling. But I don't know. I kind of like it. It's tense. It's tension.
Although I will say, the only downside with Monopoly is that there are extended periods where you tune out, and that is the one thing that is so superior about Settlers of Catan, is that even when it's not your turn, there's a reason to be fully engaged because you can engage in trade at all times, and you get dividends every time the dice is rolled.
Yeah.
I have a good recommendation. If people haven't tried it, see if you can pick up a copy of Monopoly Deal. It's a card game. It takes way less time to play it, and it's got its roots in Monopoly, but really it's its own thing. But it plays off all the Monopoly stuff, so it's kind of fun in that regard. Anyway, we played that way more than I ever played actual Monopoly. That's a fantastic little spin-off.
This has 15 minutes. Jeez, wow.
It's awesome.
Do you have a? Is there a battle? Is there beef between Ticket to Ride and Settlers of Catan? Between which one is better?
Ooh, I would have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
They're both good.
What's your
They're
hot
both
take?
fun.
I think it's Ticket to Ride. They
Really?
They got a new. So I haven't played a full game of Settlers of Catan. They just put out a Switch version of Catan.
Yeah.
And it's not a good port. You can't play local multiplayer. You have to don't play with other people who have the game, which I think is weird. But I've played a lot of Ticket to Ride, and Ticket to Ride like makes a lot of sense. It's pretty straightforward. It's not. It's just I get it. I understand Ticket to Ride way more than Settlers of Catan.
There's definitely more of a learning curve to Catan in a way that Ticket to Ride is just like a good board game, and I think Settlers Catan is like the outer edge of what would be referred to as kind of the European board game, which is oftentimes kind of just
Involved.
Fucking complicated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way complicated,
It's like,
and it's like
a spoon. Yeah.
yeah, it's like look, there are some people who want to read a story about dragons, and there's some people who want to read a story about dragons that's 7 billion words because they really want to hear about every single scale. And that's what European board gaming is in my mind, is like, hey, do you like rules? Well, guess what? Like, you have to read this entire book and then memorize it, and then you're gonna have an advantage because all these other idiots didn't read the book.
Well, that means Ticket to Ride is an anomaly because it's also European, but they avoid a lot of that. Like, it's a pretty straightforward.
I mean European more in the way that they're referred to in the
genre.
Well, I always heard it called as like German games or whatever.
Yeah.
But the Catan is interesting
Catan will get you
because
divorced. If you play teams in Catan with your significant other, you'll get divorced.
But the nice thing about the best version of Catan is actually not the board game, but the version that was on Xbox 360. Geez, 10 years ago. Like it was so brilliant because it limited your decision gates to 90 seconds, and the computer kept everything on rails. And because to avoid language barriers, there was just a series of emotes. You could say no, more, no, yes, thumbs up, thumbs down, mean face, and all that stuff. So negotiations were very fast, and they were in public, and you could kind of figure out who wanted what. That was my favorite version of that.
You know, just if we're talking about European board games, Carcassonne I think is great, and
I gave it the best try that I could, and it never landed.
I think it is especially good if you played the digital versions of it.
I did play the digital versions.
Because I think I wouldn't want to deal with all the tiles and shuffling up tiles and stuff. But I would especially not like to do all the scoring. The nice thing about the digital is it knows everything, and it knows all the scoring, and it knows where you can and can't put tiles.
Yeah.
But I like but I also think like Carcassonne, that's a game you can do. Like the digital versions are nice because they have like solitaire versions and multiplayer stuff. I like Carcassonne. That's pretty good. And Splendor is also very good.
Splendor, I don't know that one. Did you ever play what's the infection one? Pandemic?
Yeah, Pandemic's awesome.
Yeah, I only played that once.
That's based on the mobile game, right?
No. The mobile game
old
is
Flash game.
There was the reverse. So Pandemic was all the players are working to stop a pandemic. So it's you versus rolls of the dice to try to.
Yeah, it is a co-op game.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Working on the same team.
PvE.
Whereas Virus Inc. is the reverse of that. It's you are a virus, and basically you have a skill tree of power ups. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go sneezing as a power up, or do you want to go low grade fever and all that stuff?
Yeah.
And you turns out it's very fucking Iceland, Finland was always
Greenland.
Motherfucking Greenland
and Madagascar.
Yeah,
because they were islands, and Madagascar especially only travel by ship.
Yeah. So you had to invest so much into like cold resistance or hot resistance
water,
or whatever. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say pandemic.
Yeah.
Is awesome for that cooperative thing. Like if you kind of hate board games because of the whole
there's a winner-loser dynamic.
Yeah, and you just get frustrated, and you obviously know that Brian fucking Brushwood wins every fucking game every fucking time.
I mean, this is a universal problem
that
people have.
Right.
I'm sure that if Brian treats the public super fun entertainment games as light as he does on this show, I'm sure he really has a great sunny disposition when he's just playing personally.
I mean, he's just like, hey, child of mine, let's go make some popcorn. I'll cut your throat if you choose the bloodity blood. No, I mean, it's ridiculous. So
you sure you want to do that?
I'm feeling like I feel like maybe pandemic. I can't even say it though. Pandemic might be a good choice for our family. Pandemic, get over here.
Let's take a look at some show titles for this episode that we just
Bonnie has an art attack.
The Everlasting Job Stopper. My Nemesis is Ariana.
Those are all good.
Effaduck. That's pretty good. Give me money.
They really have little corkscrew wieners. I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
oh no, they really do, man.
No, like honestly, that was no bullshit. Like it was one of the most scarring moments of my life was watching two ducks have sex in front of my apartment.
I kind of like the urine is sales. I don't know if that's too gross.
The urine is sales.
Oh my gosh, I did an image search. They totally have corkscrew wieners.
Shouldn't have done that.
Get ready for those targeted ads.
You want some bread? You're going to get a lot of bread ads. Corkscrew Vines, The Kilt Boss, Bonnie Fire Sale, VON Fire.
I don't know why the V thing. Maybe my B sounds like a V. It keeps going until it's funny.
How short is her butt?
I like that one. That gets a vote from me. How short is her butt?
Long ass. Let's see, Burning Pig.
Random mayonnaise gifts.
Mayo pants. A short butt. I'm gonna give
Short butt's also good. Just
Total
short.
long
Anything
ass.
with a short butt. I'm in.
Short balls, long ass. Short ass, long balls. Kit loose. Kit loose. Oh, they like it. Ah! Sideswipe the didgeridoo. Oxygen move. Dan the Nemesis Man.
Is it all the way in with Scott Johnson?
You gotta understand this needle's like an inch and a half. It scared me so bad. I was a
Dude,
chicken.
you took it like a champ with those fucking mud flaps of yours. Like it wasn't even a thing.
Do you have to do that every day?
No.
That'd be a lot.
It's only twice a month. It's once every 2 weeks or whatever the prescription is, something like that.
All right, let's take
It's
a look.
just a normal doctor. It's not like some, there's no weirdness. You just go in, you get it. It's controlled.
There's no like male revitalization clinic or anything that Scott's going to with like a big picture of Jose Canseco on the wall.
No. Although he did tell me he had a guy with 1,000, or no, he had 900 something.
1,000 asses?
No, level of.
I mean, how many syringes?
He almost had 1,000 testosterone. It wasn't enough for him, and he turned him away. He's like, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. I'm
Yeah.
not giving you that. So some people, they go in there going, need to get more. Give me more.
I need more teas.
Yeah, more tea.
I need to play T-ball. That's where I inject testosterone into my balls.
I think
Oh.
on Showtime, I think
Another home run for me.
How Short Is Her Butt or F a Duck are my favorites, I think. I don't know. What do you feel, Brian?
I actually like artistically. I don't know if it's the best title, but I like artistically that How Short Is Her Butt has an exclamation point instead of a question mark.
Yeah. How short is her butt?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm down for that.
Okay.
I like Alpha Duck because then it lets you know that Scott's here.
Well, it'll also say with Scott. It'll say with Scott Johnson on it.
You do what you want.
How short is her butt?
All right. Thank you.
Implies that the chat gets saucy.
That's right.
Scott, do you want to reveal all the things that have come in on your survey here live on the Night Attack program?
No, because the data is still. Someone's doing the spreadsheet part of the averages. I can tell you that your segment is up in the top 5, which includes like a lot of me and Brian stuff that we do every day. That
Oh wow! Like the top 5, like not even in the guest stuff, like just in like Scott and Brian talk about their day, which is fucking the entire point of the podcast.
Yeah, no, we do like our banter at the top is considered as one of the things people voted on. News and calls and just everything we do, even his music, like cover music and all that. And then those all rank pretty high. Yours is up there. There's nobody's tanking. It's not like anybody's like farting out. And even if they were, this isn't like a who are we gonna chop kind of thing. It's purely like, is there an area that needs a tweak or a boost, or can we do something cool?
Yeah. Or can we chop a segment? Like...
Or just chop a whole segment about politics. Oh, I've said too much.
Well, all right, so for those of you who don't know, so TMS, of course, the morning show that Scott and Brian have to do, they just put out a survey, which I thought was kind of commendable. To be totally honest with you, like I'm mostly just joshing around about like my segment being garbage. Although I did think it was in the realm of possibility because there's no other segment that in any way could make you angry except for mine.
Yeah, no, but I mean, think of the last time that I really got fired up. Like I've stowed that shit.
Oh no, not you, the listener.
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
Like there's everything else is pretty much like either information or betterment of your life. And then I roll in and I'm like, anyway, like the one thing that's dividing the nation. Let's dig into it. Anyway, oftentimes Scott has a different opinion, or I tell him his opinion's invalid. I'm rejecting your entire worldview. I'm Justin Robert Young. Take my survey. How'd you feel? 1 to 10.
I think that listeners I mean, there's always going to be outliers, but people like your tone. They like what you bring. So that was never even a question. Like,
well, no, the one thing, I didn't really want to make it like that, but I do think that it was kind of commendable because, I mean, you guys have been doing that show for a really, really, really long time. I remember the first time that I listened to the morning stream, I was in a Walmart parking lot in Florida.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys, it was like in the beginning days of it, because I guess we had first met through Tom, but I had known you either through Forecast or something like that. I think we had like done a few shows together.
Yeah.
And you started that, and I just remember you doing the first couple weeks, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really hard. like
It's hard.
because I had seen you guys do other stuff before, and I'm like, oh man, Scott's like a natural, and Brian's great. And then you guys were doing it, and it wasn't that it was bad. It was just that like I'd done enough podcasts at that point that I'm like, I know when people are struggling. Like I know when people feel like you can like you've hit the end of what we have to talk about, and then just like, okay, so like, did you walk your dog? Like, what's going on, man? Yeah.
We've somehow traversed all that and made it work. It's crazy. We've been doing it since 2011. So what are we? Today was 1740. I think was the episode.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy, and you are commendable. But also, I do think that part of it is like at a certain point, you're like, okay, well, like not to say that I don't think anything's wrong, right? But like just so we can ask the audience, like, what do you like? what do you don't like? If we're just going to like key into maintenance, like
no, it's a really good point because you can the routine of it can blind you to
yes
what you're actually doing. Like you what you're doing now was great in 2012. Is it still? You don't know. How do you know? Like you know your numbers are up. You know people are listening. You know everything's good. Your Patreon grows. Like all those things are good indicators, but you don't really know if your material is where it should be. So that was my thinking. I was just like, well, what if we just threw it all out in chunks and said, let's vote for all the pieces and just tell me. And if something average is really low, then I'm going to look at it and go, well, what do we do, to tweak it or update it or change it or it's almost better to have mass anonymous feedback like this than it is to have individual feedback. And get that too, but
sure,
I like the numbers because the numbers don't have a lot of bias. They just are what they are. And it's easier for me to make changes based on that. So
well, and that's the thing is, Adhesive Wombat in the chat says, I love the routine of it. It's one of the constant of my lives. And it's like, yeah, I've learned my own lessons of trying to make changes to like weekly shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact that daily shows, people have exponentially more of a connection to things changing or being different. Like, so anything that I know that you've been doing this long enough, you understand the gravity of it is like, I mean, nothing's going to change rapidly. Right?
Oh yeah, or even drastically. Like it's not even, we're not even in the, like there's not even a need to. It's just that when you do something long enough, I think you just owe it to everyone, including yourself, to just once in a while, someone's like slap yourself in the face. Okay, whoa, okay, what are we doing? We're doing this? Okay, I forgot we were doing that for 11 years. Maybe we should change that up. Oh no, maybe not. Okay, we won't, but we can change. I mean, like it's just sort of that. It's not a like we need.
I think you have to as a creator. I think you have to every once in a while, man. You guys got to keep it fresh and do something different. I mean, it's the reason why I moved. Jury and politics used to be all I used to do on Twitch, and I started doing them as a podcast largely because I just wanted to have a different experience doing it because it's like what I do in my life.
Right. And remember when we first started having you on, it was like weird news, and then it was like random movie shit or whatever it was, and then so these segments have already evolved because they kind of had to in the light of like, well, are these going to go on in perpetuity? Yes. Well, then what are they? And they just kind of become what they're going to become. It's a fascinating journey.
Yeah.
From Milan to Minsk.
Indeed. As is a common phrase that we say often on
Say that to my kids all the time.
Yeah, right.
Kid skis.
How old's your oldest now?
15. She's driving. She has a learner's permit. Whole 9 yards.
How
Hey,
fast did that happen?
fun story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She yelled at me,
Ooh.
said that she wouldn't do it, lost her shit,
Sure.
and then when I asked,
This was during driving.
she apologized.
Good.
Progress.
Hey, there you go. Little steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Yeah. I mean, it's emotional fulfillment and understanding of other people, empathy, and
It is
It's supposed to happen when they're 15. It's supposed to happen once in a while.
well,
That's right.
and that's the thing that I'm very aware of. I'm like, oh, this is the part where, biologically speaking, this is most advantageous to the species. Is that you assert your own take on things and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't forget though, you have the same advantage. That's the same cheat I had when my kids were all 15, or any teenage years, and that was we have jobs that make us seem cooler than we are, and we're automatically more cool to them than we should be as parents.
Well, okay, that is what every parent tells themselves.
It's legit, dude. I'm telling you, it was so much easier for me because their friends were like, "Dude, your dad does the instance. No way! I love World of Warcraft. Oh my gosh, is that him?" Like, I had a lot of that, and I used to just revel in it because it was like, well, I don't have to work so hard. This is fine. All the kids want to come here and hang out. We'll keep an eye on them on Friday night because they're over here asking me questions. It'll be great.
I think you're misunderstanding though, Scott, that World of Warcraft to a certain demo, a little cooler than Magic.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There was definitely a moment. We were having a get together in Austin with Corey Coleman was there and a few other Josh Rubin was there and a few independent creators. And we were talking about what direction, like how do people consume media. And I noticed that the person I don't know tending our table happened to have a World of Warcraft tattoo rather prominently, like I don't know, like about
Kind of
the
a
size,
job stopper.
the size of a silver dollar on his neck, and as if to make a point. And in my mind, I was hoping. I just asked like, "Hey man, can I ask you something? Do you listen to podcasts?" And he was like, "No, I mean, well, I don't know, like occasionally Joe Rogan." And I'm like, nothing else, because you got a World of Warcraft tattoo on your no other podcast for anything you care about. I was really hoping to have that moment of being like, oh yeah, that's my buddy Scott Johnson.
Oh my god.
I'll tell you what, though, I actually once a buddy of mine that I've known since high school. Right, I'm at this wedding or the wedding reception area, and I'm talking to him, and back in Florida. And this is recent. This is like a year ago. And he's like, "Oh, I'm really into like maker stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, like what?" And he's like, "Oh, I build all these like fake guns and like foam stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, you should check out my buddy Bill. He does Punished Props." And he's like, "Oh, Bill Duran?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Bill Duran. You know him?" And he's like, "Yeah. No, he's great." And I'm like, all right. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. This is where I get to be super cool guy. And I'm like, yeah, like we've been friends for a while, and we're on the same show every Tuesday, and we've known each other for a million years, and it's kind of been great to see him explode and yada yada yada. And then I got to the end of all that, and he's like, yeah, he's great.
Nothing.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get another beer. Do you want another beer? I'm just trying to flex some shit here for you. Jesus Christ, give me anything.
That's funny.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you probably remember the Prince of Mouths.
Of course I
yeah.
Yeah.
Justin does amazing impressions.
Sure.
I'm the world's number one mouth guitar expert. I just make these sounds that sound exactly polyphonically like the actual sounds that come out of a guitar. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, NASA recently had a project where they side by side, indistinguishable. Also, the form.
Kind of indecipherable too. It was a little-
Scott, that's why I garnered the nickname, the Prince of Mouths.
That's right.
Okay. This is new to me, but now it's all fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all very well known.
Listeners might remember this from, what is this, episode 242, the Zamfir of mouth guitar.
Yes.
Do you know what also happened on that episode?
What?
This was back in October.
Oh my God, did we play the same fucking game?
What's up? We did. The game that we play tonight, you played in its almost entire identical structure.
Wait a minute. Same questions. and
October
Tell me,
of 2018.
it wasn't the same examples, was it?
It was Yes, it also was the same questions.
Man, and you guys don't even do a daily show. I can see you forgetting them, but a weekly? Oh, man. That's funny. So wait, they've answered these exact questions before.
We did 6 today. The 6th one I had to scramble to pick out of the list. But yes, the other 5 were in the exact order that they were presented in that
That's
episode.
amazing.
Too.
I'm glad I was here for that. That's great.
This episode.
How did you not say? I mean, I guess this is a good post.
All right, this is the part where I fucking point out that all of you smug motherfuckers, all of you Kilton ass motherfuckers in the chat, I didn't see you guys calling this out.
What's funny is when you got TLA exactly right, I thought, oh, someone remembered or figured it out. I mean, it's even the same name of the game, Jargon and the Jargonauts. I kind of thought that you might have remembered that, but
God damn.
it was
Number
very
one,
fun.
Fuck you, Bryce. You should have known better. Of course, we didn't fucking remember the game. We don't remember. You could have done last week's game, and you wouldn't have known it. I will say this: I hope you get your jollies that you made fun of Nana in the fucking
No!
home. That you were able to give her the same $1 bill every time and act like you were giving her a gift. But that's mean and fucked up.
No, I was not trying. This was not meant to make anyone feel bad. This honestly, the thought process for this was, I've been thinking about doing this for a very long time.
Wait,
I'm sure you
congratulations on your new video game, Alzheimer's Simulator, the game.
But the reason I did it was because we had a really busy day today, and I didn't have any time to prep anything, and I wanted to do whatever quiz we had done last time with Scott, but it was Chat Realm Feud, and I didn't have enough time to set up the new Chat Realm Feud board.
So hold on, did these guys answer questions in the same way they answered them before? Did they look like they had eureka moments and then they just said what they said in October?
You know, I don't. That's not listed here on the wiki,
I'm
but it
gonna-
did list. It
let's
say
just
Brian
let's just
won
write that
last
down
time.
as highly unlikely. I'm going to say
Probably.
it's very likely that the random noise generator that is our brains went a
Exactly,
different
yeah.
direction this time.
Yeah, probably. But
Alzheimer's the game too. Alzheimer's the game.
Oh my God! What a great tweet! Just all the. Oh, would it be unkind for me to tweet that just on its own?
Stay away.
Only the
Maybe
Alzheimer's
stay
thing.
away.
Had
mental
to
illness.
stay away.
Oh, boo!
That's a fun thing to say on the Ribald Comedy Podcast.
Also, that was one of our first mailbag episodes, and that was the week before. When was it? The week before Scoop Fest, and Google Plus. died
Wait,
that
hold
day.
on. Wait a minute. Well, there might
That
be
recently?
Brian doesn't remember it because. Wait, that was 2018. No.
Yeah.
Okay, no. It was the 2017 one where Brian, you were just loopy. That was the the night attack. That's a hell of a time. Why don't you?
Oh
check
shit!
out
Yeah.
Right.
That
No,
that
that
was
was
the
2017.
the calorie collapse
That was
episode.
2017. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the day Google Plus died. So there we go. Just a little bit of fun.
God
stuff.
damn it. That wasn't even all that long ago. Fuck me. Whatever. All right. Look, number one. in
No,
case
this is.
anybody-
I really am not trying to make
made
it. I'm
any
not
claim
dunking
to
on you.
remember
I'm saying
what
this is a
happened.
fun joke we
I
all
never
did
made
together.
any claim. Like, we have made a point that we don't remember what happens on this show. So fuck you, everybody. Enjoy
Actually,
your laughs.
can I be totally honest? And in fact, I would love to get Scott's take on this. In so many ways, it really makes me feel good. Scott, we've talked about on this show the weird show amnesia that happens because when you're doing the show, you're so dialed in on having the next bit or the next comment or whatever, and it just evaporates as soon as it's over with. And 1 week later, somebody's like, and they'll make a reference, and in person, you'll be like, and they're like, because you said the thing, and you're like, oh, I did say that thing. Like, is this a shared phenomenon? Because
It totally is, and it's even worse when you're doing it every morning for 5 days a week, every week of a 52-week year. Here's the thing, though. We got this guy named Jamie. Goes by TMS Mashups on Twitter. And what he does is literally that. He makes mashups of stuff we say. So he'll take a week of shows, and he'll cram a bunch of dumb stuff we said in together into about a 2-minute clip, and then we'll play it on Mondays. and it's always really funny. And 99% of it, nobody remembers saying. Like, I don't any of it. And some of it is drop dead hilarious, like genuinely funny. Like, write that down. That's a good bit. Kind of funny. No recollection of saying it or doing it, or that impression Brian did that brought the house down. Nobody remembers it. Like, so not only are you right, we have documented proof that it's right. And because every Monday we hear a thing that is all from last week, confirmable bits, and I don't remember shit from it. It's crazy.
I'm weirdly happy to hear that because otherwise it just means I'm an alcoholic.
You know what you got? You got the low T. Low T.
The low T, the low tenacity of memory to remember the things.
Low tensile brain strength. Yeah, look, man. I mean, beyond the booze, which is undeniably a factor, I do think part of it is also just like how your brain has to operate when you're just doing like back and forth. You have to be very present in a formative conversation, and I think that just, for however brains work, comes at the cost of the memory function. Like, you're just storing less.
Yeah, I think there's actual neuroscience at play that we don't know how to define, but it's there, and it's for our good somehow that we don't remember all that.
From here on out, Brian, if you agree, one of us can make a claim that Bryce is reusing a game, and if you're right, you win the game. And if you're wrong, you lose.
Immediately lose.
Immediately.
To be honest, like
did anything about this game at all seem familiar? Even?
God damn it! You just want to rub our faces
I'm
in
not
it.
trying to. I really am curious to know. This is not a
No.
thing.
The one thing that felt odd, was TLA. Not because I knew it, but because that's a theater in Philadelphia, the Living Arts Theater in Philadelphia, called the TLA, and I remember thinking, the TLA, the Living Arts, and then I'm like, oh, that's like, that felt weird. I remember in that moment remembering that it was TLA, or like thinking that it was TLA, the Living Arts, felt weird. But other than that, absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Like, it got you that far into you setting up the fucking reveal that I was like, oh, wow, I don't know what Brian's talking, or what Bryce is talking about. I bet you somebody weird. Oh, this one come in from prison? Ha ha ha. Like, no. We've literally done it 5 months ago.
Jeez. Wow. That's more like 8. Well, thank you again, Speed Demon, for that game. Man. He gave us a lot too. I could have picked new questions, and
you could have, couldn't you?
So.
But you didn't. You picked the exact same questions in the exact same order. How about that?
Oh man,
that's funny. Oh, apparently Speed Demon even said in the chat, "Oh, they're playing my game again."
I mean, but what does that mean?
What does that mean?
It's like
who knows? No, I mean, I'm just saying all the clues were there for the careful viewer.
It's me sprinkling clues.
Oh, fuck you.
Now I'm taking delight. Now
I want to know which version was funnier, this time or the previous time. Like, this is a wonderful A/B test.
Get your votes. Get your votes in.
That's right. Text your number.
Who was your guest?
Text your answer.
Who was your guest tonight?
We might not have had a guest. That was kind of not very many guests. There's no guest.
Jones' son?
Tonight was funnier. There's your answer. Tonight
that's
was
right.
funny.
Okay. That's right.
Dude, I've talked about on this podcast the time I failed on Austin's #1 morning program radio, right? Did we talk about this?
I mean, I've heard it, but
Were you doing magic on there?
Yeah. Oh, wait, have you not heard this?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Oh, this is
this your card?
This is a wonderful life lesson. So, #1 morning drive time radio program is 93.7 KLBJ. Dudley and Bob used to be with Deborah. Now it's just Dudley and Bob or whatever. But I think in like 99, 2002, 2003, I showed up here and there to promote local magic things or whatever.
Yeah.
But around 2000, I guess it was 2002, 2003, I went on and I did like like I just went all in on the comedy bits of the left-right scenario of choice A, choice B, blah, blah, blah. It was a mentalism thing where it's like it was supposed to end with me, a bunch of fake outs, and then finally I got their card right at the end.
Yeah.
Turns out I didn't get their card right at the end.
Oh no.
8 minutes of me walking them through all this stuff, and I get their card wrong. And then and one of them, I remember the pause. I remember one of them saying, A for effort, though.
Oh.
And then I was like, and then I went home, and Bonnie and we had a magician friend staying over at the time, and it was just like, yeah. and it's like, well, and
But
by the way,
it's radio. They should have played along.
no. I mean, maybe they thought that I was setting up a bigger reveal or whatever. Yeah. But basically, at some point, some direction did not get followed, and mentalism is tricky like that, right? So it was I was like, okay, look. Nobody's going to remember it's me. It's going to evaporate. It won't be that bad. And sure enough, like it didn't really happen. But meanwhile, like I definitely remember that moment of like, how about that appearance anyway? So a few years later, 2007, we're launching Scam School. 2008, we're launching Scam School. And I was like, they hired a PR firm. PR firm got me booked, and it's same show, it's same hosts. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show up. They're going to be like, you're the guy who did the thing, and let's play the clip, and let's rub it in your face. And I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I go in and I do the appearance. And keep in mind, this is what, 6 years I'm holding on to the baggage of this abject failure in front of all of the city of Austin, right? And so I go and I do the appearance. And they're like, oh, so you got some magic for us? And I do some stuff, and tell us about Scam School, and we do the thing. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't think they're gonna bring it up at all. And then by the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, they're willing to act like this is my first time on the show. I can't believe it. Yeah. And then later on, at some point, I look, and sure enough, one of the co-hosts is doing like a YouTube thing where on the drive home, he's like, hey, so today we met this new magician, his Brian Brushwood, he's really going places, seems like a cool cat. And I'm like, oh my God, they literally
completely forgot about
don't even remember the time I was on there.
Which
to
was
me,
many years ago. Yeah.
yes, and so suddenly I feel the 10,000 pounds lift off of my chest, and I come home and I say to Bonnie, I did this thing. They didn't remember. Even they, like, I thought, I knew that Austin would forget. I didn't think the hosts would forget. Nobody remembers the time I fucked up the magic trick on the radio.
Yeah.
And then Bonnie pauses for a second and says, when did you fuck up a trick on the radio?
Aww.
And then I realized that for fucking 6 years, I was the only one carrying the baggage of the time I fucked up a trick on the radio.
Well, and it's like, well, I guess this wouldn't have been as applicable at the time, but like nowadays with something like podcasting, like it only heightens how temporal radio is or how ephemeral radio is. Who is saving radio programs?
Nobody's saving radio.
No one's replaying them at all. Man, yeah.
Have you ever tried to find that audio?
I have it. I have it because the trick to recording giant chunks of radio is to put in a VHS tape recorder and hit it. Well, because tapes would only go for an hour. So what you would do is you would put in a VHS tape, hit record, let it go for 6 hours on SP mode. So I actually have a blank screen with that. I could probably find it.
You need to do a not drunk history in that you would be drunk and repeating it, but like a reenactment.
There is some version of this story where we play the actual audio with the fuck up and all that. That should be a video.
No, but you need to shoot it and have maybe either you play yourself or someone else, but just have that just be on the as you have all that archival audio. That would be fucking awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How that goes though, you're right. If it didn't, nobody was impacted by it like you were.
Yeah.
And you assumed everybody was still, you know.
And we all have those moments. I mean, that was very obviously a very public moment for you on the radio at the time. But I think we all have things that we just hold on to that nobody even knows, maybe didn't even know at at the first time, let alone now.
What-
But you still hold on to it.
And for me, the transformative moment was realizing, like at the very least, I would assume my wife would remember that. But she had no memory whatsoever. And in that moment, I realized I was the only human being on planet Earth who was holding on to this very painful moment. And I regretted holding on to it for any amount of time.
Yeah, but don't you also feel like, so there's a flip side to that, because even though, you know, in the end it felt like a burden you didn't need to actually carry, it did push you, improved you, made you think more, made you learn from that experience, made you not want to do that again, like hone your craft. Like, I think it's a key factor in our growth. So I think those kind of failures, even if other people don't notice them, still matter. And like, if you didn't care at all, be like, whatever, I screwed that up today on TV, moving on, like, or on the radio, you would, I don't think that's as good for you as a professional. You know what I mean? Like, you probably learn from it.
I mean, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I think that there's certainly an amount of pain that causes fear, that causes discipline, right? And then there's amount of pain that causes fear that erodes your ability to try things, or cuts your brain off from going in certain directions.
But
I mean, that is the alchemy.
I will say that I have experienced what Scott is referring to. There was a show in West Virginia that pretty much they were. I was the headliner, and the opening act was a juggler, and the opening act juggler had all of the trappings that established authority and primed the audience to know what to expect out of his show. He had an irreverent opening 5-minute video that set everything up, that tied into his act, and he did his act, and he went straight into a closer and then tied everything up. I had none of those trappings, and it was very clear right from the beginning of the show that in this 900-seat theater, fully sold-out show, that everything I hated about magic and everything I set out to build my show to mock was exactly what they had hoped to see when they came in. So basically, it was a bad show. It was a really, really bad show. It was a mismatch of energy. The only routine they liked is the one where I was faux doing cheesy 90s world's greatest magic, and none of the music cues worked or anything. And the word is, and it's the show that somebody stood up and threw an orange at the stage. Somebody threw fruit at my stage, and I didn't even know that was a real thing. And the thing about West Virginia is that cell phones, forget about it, early 2000s, and also forget about even being able to get a radio signal. So I had a 4.5-hour drive back to North Carolina where I had nothing but to consider my failure and all the things that I would have done different in that moment. So in that regard, Scott, I think you're 100% right, because after that I realized, well, what I need to do is prime the audience from the moment they enter the theater to know what to expect and to get on the same page with me. I can't expect that I'll be able to walk out on stage and have somebody expect me to be in a purple sequined vest and somehow win them over. Instead, I have to sow the seeds of subversive Penn and Teller-esque, counterculture.
Sure. People should listen to these post shows. These get really interesting and good. Like, not that the rest of the show isn't, but you know what I mean. Like, this is good, helpful stuff.
No, but mostly because the rest of the show is just dog shit. It's just I mean, we fucking did the same game that we did like 7 months ago.
I have been told that this Wile E. Coyote cartoon, Zoom to the Top, includes a vocalization from Wile E. Coyote in a tune that does not have Bugs Bunny in it. Zoom at the top. Yeah, apparently he says ouch or something.
Dumb motherfucker.
Oh, 405.
This is jump.
Just about all of it. All right, he's putting some oil on the bear trap.
Used to worship this guy.
Ouch.
Oh.
Yeah, but he said words later. He's like evil genius. Or
Oh, no.
whatever.
This is the whole debate. Those are all Bugs Bunny episodes.
I think we were still unconfirmed about the clip that we watched in the pre-show, but in general, yeah, he seemed to talk more in the Bugs Bunny.
You're
Yeah.
right. Super genius stuff is always with Bugs Bunny. You're right.
All right, here, I'm going to Venmo
that's
you.
right.
I'm going to PayPal you.
Gonna rent out.
PayPal.
$10
$10 dues.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, we made I should have. He actually fucking extended my credit up to $100. I could have been making. I could have made $200 on this bed.
I mean, you
pushed out with 5. Well,
Boom.
I guess that makes me a super genius.
Genius. Nicely done.
Mr. Rich Moneybags.
Hey, next
Look,
week.
I made all that money because before I introduced Moneyman to Scott, I had already guessed 0 on the testosterone guys.
Yeah,
So I've got $1 million left to go.
That's right, because you were talking to
Hey,
this guy.
Brian, next week, or wait, or is it the week after that? Are you doing Comic-Con?
Oh shit! I thought we would talk about this, but 100%. You and I needed to do a thing because Travis McElroy is tweeting out
cool
that
guy.
I'm going to be there.
Oh, okay.
So I definitely have to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm there Thursday and Friday. I fly out Friday night.
I think you're Friday to Sunday, right?
I mean, I right now the only thing I'm on the hook for is that panel Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Shit. Well,
Are you not there Saturday?
no, I'm out Friday.
Wait, how long is this thing?
San Diego Comic Con?
Yeah.
It's long.
Well,
Yes,
that's
Thursday
not
through
an answer.
Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just Thursday through Sunday. Yeah, like Justin said.
That's only 4 days.
It's only 4 days.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so Thursday, the Joey Ryan documentary screens. Katie Dirks is the namesake of the Dirks Rule. Her documentary screening at Comic-Con, and so I will be there for that. And then
I would like to be there for that because Katie and I are. I pitched an idea to her and she likes it.
Yeah.
And she's pitching it.
no, her and James, her and James will be there. So yeah,
so-
definitely come
so
out.
I gotta
It's
show up early for that.
3 p.m. Thursday.
Have you booked your travel?
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Yeah, well, look at us.
How was the show, Justin? I don't know
Oh,
if you...
it went great. It went great. It was a little nerve-wracking.
Oh, yeah, I meant to ask about this today when we were on the show. Yeah.
The show I was actually really comfortable with. It was as Brian had predicted. It was great to jam the entire creation of a show into like a day, because at the very least it kind of forced me to really know the show and build the show so I could perform it without a lot of rehearsal, and because I didn't have a lot of rehearsal, but I thought it went really good. I think the mobile stuff kept falling in and out, but the majority of the clips are on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung, and then the audio version is up now in the politics feed. But yeah, no, it was a little nerve-wracking initially because we, up until like the morning of the show, in a 42-seat theater, we had only sold 17 tickets. And you know, the Friday of Pride weekend the Saturday of Pride weekend in San Francisco is like New Year's Eve. It is like the party night of the year in the city of San Francisco. And also then like that day, the weather was just like superhumanly amazing. It was just great weather. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm fucked. Like I'm not going to sell a single more ticket for this thing, and luckily I wasn't gonna take a bath on it financially, but then all of a sudden everybody showed up. As it turns out, Saturday night tickets, people like to just show up and buy them, and
Good.
so it wound up coming like 5 or 6 away from the
I do like that
Nice.
you're keeping the tradition alive of us making sure to plan our events like up against like the most impossible counter programming possibly on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, I was really beating myself up about the time, and then I was like, well, when the fuck else was I gonna do it? The debates were on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, can't do them before the debates. I can't do them a week after the debate. So if I was going to do them, they had to be either Friday or Saturday, and Friday was also a gigantic party day where I would have had less time to plan out and rehearse the show. So ultimately, I was very, very happy with it, and I would like to do it again. The only problem is that the next debates run up right into Gen Con, so I won't have that weekend to do a show. So either I could do a show, because that's like Tuesday, Wednesday. I could do the show like on Thursday,
Jeez.
like the day after, or I could just take that one off and then do another the next time. But I would like to keep doing them because they were really, really fun to do.
Yeah. If we're talking a little bit about the future, I don't know if we're talking about the other thing yet.
Oh yeah, we can have a day. So good news, bad news. The good news is that we will be at the Out of Bounds Comedy Festival in Austin, Texas, this year. The more good news, it'll be on a Tuesday. The bad news is that we were hoping to kind of make this our, as promised in the episode with Corey and Martin, a Corey and Martin episode. And canonically, they are never on the show that we normally do because they have to watch movies on Tuesday because it's literally their job.
Yeah.
So if for whatever reason that is a Tuesday that maybe they've got more flexibility on, sometimes these things, run on different days, then we'll see. But as of now, up in the air on whether or not Corey and Martin will join us. But I think we can probably wrangle up some Austin special guests. But
Yeah.
it'll be Tuesday. I don't know the time yet or the location, but we got word today that it will be on Tuesday. That is the Tuesday before
27th.
the day.
August 27th.
Holy shit. In the chat, Toilet Bug says Schwid and Jury with an NSFW Night Attack show in Huntington Beach for the finals of the U.S. Open of Surfing. Fun fact, I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but my earliest memories are when I lived in Huntington Beach. When I was 5 years old. Like, those are my very first memories of living in that town. And I've always enjoyed going back and visiting it. That would be amazing. I would love to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah, my guy, I'm in.
And then,
But yeah, no. So a lot of fun stuff. Comic-Con, and I might be up in the air whether or not I'm going to be on Rebecca Watson's Quizatron in Comic-Con on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Possible.
and then next week, Mike TV be in studio, or he'll be on the show. I don't know if he's going to Skype in or not. And then after that, week after that, your buddy of mine, Lowbro Watch, will be back.
Oh, good.
Hello, bro.
That's right.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we're
I'm
feeling it.
crashing.
Thank you guys so much for watching the show, watching the stream, watching the after show. From Scott and Brian and Justin.
Love you guys.
Hi guys, thanks
Have a
for
good
having me
night.
on.
XOXO.
Bye.